Welcome, everyone. My name is Maureen, and we're so glad to have you all with us today for the November 2024 session of Community Health Learning Collective, also known as CHLC. As I said, my name is Maureen Burns. Myself and Candace Draw facilitate this group. We are two community health workers from the HAP Foundation in Chicago, Illinois. And we are so excited to welcome you to what will be our last session of the year, as we are not having a session in December, but we will be back in 2025. For those of y'all who may be new to CHLC, welcome. We're so glad you're here. And for those of you who are returning, welcome again, and we're glad you've stuck with us. Community Health Learning Collective is really just meant to be a shared collective learning space. It's open to community health workers, promotoras de salud, CHRs, and also allies, really from anywhere. We're here in Chicago, but we're excited to also welcome CHWs from all over the country. So with that, I want to kind of introduce you to our speakers and our topic for today. We're really thrilled to have two phenomenal presenters representing the Southeast Community Health Worker Network, which is a network that I've really enjoyed getting to know and learn from. So our presenters today are Soledad Bolden. She is an experienced community health worker with over 9 years in the field. She contributes to the Southeast Community Health Worker Network, providing support throughout the Southeast region of the U.S. In addition, she's also a former middle school teacher, and she has a bachelor's degree from the University of Maryland Eastern Shore and a master's in secondary education from Brooklyn College. She continues her work as she provides best practices for CHW programs across the country. And then joining her is Kim Rawlinson. Kim serves as the Community Impact Manager with the Center for Community Health Alignment at the University of South Carolina. As a CHW, she has more than 10 years of experience in health disparity reduction by fostering community outreach and engagement in underserved and rural communities in South Carolina. Additionally, she has experience in academic and community-based partnerships, research, project management, and implementation. At the Center for Community Health Alignment, Kim leads the Equity Through Meaningful Community Engagement initiative and provides support to organizations through CHW capacity building efforts. So these two wonderful people are going to be talking to us about their work, the Southeast Community Health Worker Network, and also about this idea of certification standards across states and reciprocity. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Soledad and Kim. Welcome and take it away.
Hello, nice to see everybody.
Good
Yes.
afternoon.
How's everyone feeling today? Let me see, on a scale from 1 to 10, where are you right now? You can just put in the chat, or if you want to come off mute.
8.
Oh, I'm seeing 8. Oh, I heard an 8. Oh, 6, okay, 9, a 5, okay. So hopefully by the end of this session, your number will go up, right? So if you're 7, you'll be an 8. If you're 8, you'll be a 9. If you're 5, you'll be a 10. Right? Okay.
All right, I'm seeing a big black box. Are y'all able to seeing that?
Let me move that. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's gone. Good job.
It's gone now. All right. Good afternoon again. I'm Kim Rawlinson, and I'm very excited to be here and would like to thank Maureen, Candace, and the HAP Foundation for inviting myself and my colleague Soledad here to share a little bit about the Southeast Community Health Worker Network. and the training and certification standards in some of the participating states that are in the Southeast. You can go to the next slide, please.
Yes.
All right. So in November of 2020, the network was formed after seeing that further organization as well as coordination was really needed to strengthen the CHW workforce as a whole and provide a greater impact in regions in the Southeast that really have those high health disparities and inequities. And the Center for Community Health Alignment, also known as CHA, has successfully served as the backbone organization for the network and has supported the network of CHWs and CHW allies in training, workforce development, and strategic planning. And I'd like to share just a little bit about CHA. We are a community engaged organization within the Arnold School of Public Health at the University of South Carolina. And our mission is to use evidence-based models and meaningful community engagement strategies to really co-create strategies alongside communities to address inequities. And our work is really rooted in uplifting and amplifying community voice. Next slide, please. So over the first year with the network being developed, the network collectively developed a mission that you see here on the screen, which is really to strengthen the collective impact of the CHW workforce profession, as well as outline some core values that we stand beside with the network. And in 2022, the network worked alongside a firm to really explore or look at what we've accomplished and kind of where we are going to help us get a path forward to where we really wanted to go. And we did this with focus groups, surveys, and a virtual retreat to really understand the vision and the future direction of the network. Next slide, please. And this slide just really outlines the 11 participating states. And these were identified by the geographic region of Health and Human Services Region 4, but it was also open to others that really identify themselves as Southeastern states, such as like Virginia. Next slide, please. The cornerstone of the Southeast CHW network is its emphasis on peer-to-peer learning to really elevate CHW leadership within individuals and communities. And we really believe that the exchange of expertise and knowledge and wisdom amongst CHWs is what allows the CHW workforce to really thrive. So the sharing of that lived experience and being able to be amongst peers helps the workforce to really advance and strive. And here are a few highlights that we would like to share, and it's what really makes the network unique. So this is our third or fourth year receiving funding from J&J, which is Johnson & Johnson, our Race to Health Equity initiative. And we hold monthly network meetings, skill building meetings, where folks have an opportunity to learn about a new topic. And these meetings are inclusive and really open to anyone who would like to attend them. So these meetings consist of community health workers, allies, public health and healthcare professionals, and has consistently over about 100 attendees attending each month, or 70 to 100. But we've been teetering closer to the 100 mark of folks who are attending these monthly meetings. And these meetings really focus on shared learning and best practices. We do have an annual summit that provides a space for individuals to come together within the networks to really acknowledge the impact of the work that's being done across the states within our communities. And it is another opportunity to share best practices and address challenges and barriers that many face when working within their communities. And we are excited that we're holding our fourth annual summit next month in Atlanta, Georgia. This is our third year offering sub grants to CHW networks and organizations to really help them build a capacity to advance the workforce within their states. And each year, the process is more competitive, and there are more and more organizations who are participating in that process. And we currently have five sites who are implementing different projects across their states to strengthen their CHW efforts. And as a network, we always like to say, which is the CHW motto, nothing about us without us. And we carry this motto throughout all aspects of the work that we do within our organization as well as the network. Next slide. Soledad, would you like to take this one or would you like me to continue?
I could take this. Yeah.
Okay. This is your baby.
It is. It is. So, it has been such an honor to gather people from throughout the Southeast and beyond to participate in the fourth annual summit that is happening in December next month, the 13th, well, the 12th. It's actually the 12th and the 13th in Atlanta, Georgia. And what the summit does, it just brings so many different people together for to learn about different things, to get refreshed with regarding their work or their walk as a CHW or an ally. Our very own here, Maureen, will be presenting in one of our sessions during the breakout sessions on Friday. And I'm excited. I'm super excited. Just the love and the the togetherness that happens during the summit. We have our keynote speaker from her name is Tamara Gammon. She is an artist and a trainer. She's based in Georgia. She will be doing our keynotes. She'll be doing the keynote speaking during that on the first day. We have some federal partners who will be joining us. We have different individuals, who's just coming together to speak about the different aspects of CHWs and allies within the Southeast, and even moving this work forward and what that looks like, and how we all can come together to grow this region, this network, within the region. So I'm super excited to have this. Actually, this was supposed to happen back in September, but we know what happened towards the end. It was hurricanes was just happening all over. And within that week, literally the summit was supposed to happen on the Thursday. We had to shut it down that Wednesday, a day before. So really that Tuesday, that's when we were like, okay, this is getting really bad. We were looking at the storm, checking the route, and we had to shut it down a day or 2 days before the summit. So this is actually our rain date or postponed date that is happening December 12th and 13th. And we're excited to I live in Georgia, so everyone coming to me. So it's an exciting moment, and I'm ready to just learn and just feel refreshed. Whenever we have moments like that as a CHW, you really do feel empowered. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Thank you, Soledad. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
And we're at the end of our 2024 year, but we usually meet monthly with the exception of December, and then the month we usually hold the sum at the end, which would have been September. But these monthly meetings are opportunities for members to really glean from one another. They hear updates of what's going on in participating states. They learn from guest speakers who are invited to share on different topics that are of interest to the network. And then it's all about just learning and sharing and growing together. Um, we usually meet on the third Tuesdays of each month from 10:30 to 12 Eastern Standard Time, and these meetings are held virtually. But if you're interested in being a part of the network and participating in these monthly meetings, towards the end of this presentation, there will be an opportunity for you to learn more about joining our listserv so that you can be in the know of the 2025 schedule. And at this time, I'm going to turn it back over to Soledad.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment, and I'm purposely doing that. Okay. Um, I'm going to put a link, but you all have to promise me something. You're not going to click on the link yet, only because when I get to that slide, I won't be able to like come. I don't want to disrupt the flow. Okay. So you have to promise me that you're not going to click on the link. Okay. Until I tell you to do so. All right. Just give me a moment. And while we're doing that, I want you to think of the word reciprocity. What comes to mind? What is the meaning to you when you hear the word reciprocity? Put that in the chat. Okay, put that in the chat. In the meantime, I'm getting the link. I'm gonna wait till the waterfalls, like you guys put that in there, and then I'll put the link in there last. Yeah. So when you hear the word reciprocity, what comes to mind? Word reciprocity. What comes to mind? All right, we have, oh, y'all are on it. Okay. Reciprocity, sharing back and forth, okay, exchanging information. To me means returning what is given, equal efforts. Okay. Let me stop taking the credit. Let me go back to the names. Marine, okay, I went back. Okay. Marine said yes. Reciprocity, sharing back and forth. Candace, exchanging information. Kai, reciprocity means to me returning what it is given. Yes. Annalie, equal efforts. Kate, symbolic relationships, something mutually beneficial. Okay. Dr. Veronica, joint collaborative duality. AK, two-way equilibrium. I cannot. You trying to tongue twist me today. Equiliterality. Really, that's that word right there. Gregory or Greg said, being able to apply previous education and experience. Vicky said, community sharing. Okay, nice. Elizabeth said equal flow of an exchange back and forth, usually information or effort. And Lisa, hey, Lisa. Oh, I like to see, I'm seeing some familiar names. Yes. Ability to work collaboratively, regardless of location. Absolutely. Thank you. All right. So I am going to put this in the chat, and please, you guys promised, even though you didn't say it, I know you did. All right. So let's get back to, but thank you for sharing all of that. Yes. And Kathy says sharing information. Yes. Okay. It might be a little slower on, okay. Reciprocity. Okay. When I think of reciprocity, I'm be honest with you, I think of Lauryn Hill. When that song that came out in the 90s, right? I think that was the first time I heard the word reciprocity. Okay. But it is the practice of exchanging things with others for mutual benefit, especially privilege granted by one organization to another. All right. Now, what does this mean for CHWs? We're talking about this. We're here. in the network, what Kim was speaking about in the beginning, within the network, we have different committees, right? One of the committees that we have is called the strategic direction. And within that, we have so many different priorities that was the main focus for the network. So last year during the summit, we couldn't just come up with ideas and, oh, we're going to do this initiative and then do that. We needed everyone who is engaged and involved in the network, which is over 300 people. We needed their thoughts. And one of the ideas that came out of it was reciprocity, right? How are we going to bring the states together? How can we support others, within the Southeast network? Okay. So what does this mean for CHWs? Okay. Increase employer acceptability. Okay. Now, this is from LaShawn, which is they actually had their summit last week, if I'm not mistaken. And what was said was that we know that if you're working with the community health worker, that first the community health worker has this knowledge or skill set, but also that we know that our clients are getting a certain standard of care across the board. Okay, so we know that we're out in the field. We know how important our skill sets are because we're the expert in what we're doing, and the expert in the community as well. If you've never called yourself an expert, this is the time to start doing that because you need that confidence when we're talking about what's needed in the community because that's what you have, and you're here for that to gain that knowledge even more, right? This goes for our CHWs and our allies. Okay, so increase employer adaptability, how it applies to CHWs. Open avenues for reimbursement, right? Some argue that if public funds are going to be spent on community health workers, standardization in their training and the services they provide is necessary. So we know that when we're having these avenues for reimbursement, we can provide in ways that we can't even imagine. It's supporting the clients that we have in the community, and the clinics, or if you're in a hospital, if you're working in these different fields or these different areas within the scope of being a CHW, we know that how much of a benefit that will be in the community. There are studies that shows how important CHWs are, and where the lack is in some of these areas that we're doing so much work, but then the finances are not there, right? We're not getting the work that we're putting in, we're not seeing that in return when it comes to reimbursement, right? So also building professional citizenship and community, letting the whole organization know that we do exist and the magnitude of what we can do to help better serve individuals, because a lot of them do not understand or know our reach. They don't know what we can or and how we can do it. All right. So when it comes to understanding what we're doing as CHWs, it just brings like allowing us to feel more legit, if I could put it that way, right? Within the professional workforce, like we're feeling like we've built this workforce, this profession, and we need to let everyone understand and know that we're here and we do the work very well. And the fact that some may not understand or know what CHWs are doing or how we're professionals at that. I did a training in one of the states. I won't say the state because it's a small world, right? So I did a travel to one of the states, and it was with the Department of Health. That was it was with CHWs, and just to bridge the gap between the Department of Health and CHWs. And during that meeting, we had individuals from the Department of Health working within the state who did not know who CHWs were or who they are, right? So just being there, letting them know that we exist and the gap that they need, what they needed, there was a huge gap that CHWs can fill, right? So letting it be known what we do and why we're here. Okay. I want to show you something of that was created by one of our colleagues, and this is the CHW certification landscape from the different states. Okay, now you are more than welcome to click on that link. I'm going to show you something so fun. This is such an amazing resource. I'm going to actually go there now. Okay. If you don't want to click, I'll click it here. And what I'm going to show you is a map. And it's the focus that we have is just the Southeast. Okay. And the way I'll explain it is within the Southeast, there are certain we want to know. We want to know about the training that's happening in these different states, right? And certification standards, right? Especially where they're having these certification and examinations and recertification. So how are we navigating each state for these different associations to know what's happening and what skill sets they're utilizing to allow these certification landscape. So instead of me talking, let me just show you. I love this map so much. Look at this. This is so cool. So we know that this is a map of the US, right? When I hover, this is all the Southeast. These are all the regions that's in our network. Okay, within the Southeast network, this is what we cover. Within the network that Kim was just talking about, these are all of the states. All right. Now, what I can do, right? I can click on a state. Let's go to Virginia. Let's take a trip to Virginia real quick. And then we could take a look about the start of their certification, okay, the total of CHWs that are certified, and the average certification per year. Okay, and this was just updated last year. All right. And then if I scroll down, we could talk about the training, okay, guiding competencies, okay, the requirements, what are required, the application fee that you could see right here. Okay. And what is needed to be eligible for me to be in this field to get this certification or this training. Okay, so this is with the Virginia Certification Board, individuals coming together to have these meetings to figure out how are we going to really show in a big picture what CHWs are doing. Okay, how are we really showcasing ourselves? Okay, and what's happening in these different states. So if we want to go back, if we want to go back, hold on one second, there we go. Okay. If we want to go back and look at a different state, does anyone want to just throw a state out at me? Let me see. I know we're talking in the chat.
California.
California. Oh, well, that's over here. So we only have the Southeast on here. Only the Southeast.
North Carolina.
Okay. Yeah. So that's highlighted in the darker. So now the fact that you said California, right? That just shows how expanding, like how you want to know what's going on in the other states as well. So this is something that we're going to continue to work on. But absolutely, yes. That's just that's going to get updated soon for the other states. But the CHW Association, like the credentialing type, certification, the start of certification April 2022, the total hours. You could look at the training, facilitated hours, how much is needed. The price, the eligibility, okay, the training sites where they're having it. Okay. There's something called the legacy track as well. As we know, there's people that's been doing There's folks that's been doing this work before they even knew what a CHW was, right? So what does that look like? Like, do I have to start over? Does my years have to start over if I've been doing it for 20 years before I even became certified? There are different legacy tracks that you can take a look at for each state. And the different areas that wherever you'll be working, it is different for each state. Yes. But I tell you this, and I've been part of a few of the processes in the different states where we would have to meet, like the CHWs would meet with the Department of Health and these other organizations who will come up with this document so they can share with their state legislator. And in order to have an effective credentialing and an effective certification, you have to have CHWs at the table. It's been too long, so many times where they're coming up with these different requirements, right? And CHWs are not at the table. They're not part of this discussion. So CHWs are not adding any value to what's being already written down. So now that a lot of these states, they're pulling on CHWs more, they're pulling on allies, and then the allies are pulling on CHWs. It's just adding to the value in what we're doing and how we're showing up in the community. Okay. Has anybody ever heard of the C3 projects? The CHW core competency? Let me go in the chat real quick. Okay. Yes. Wonderful. Okay. Now, beautiful. Oh, awesome. So the C3 project, actually a lot of the certifications, the whatever's going into legislation into that package, like pretty on the credentialing on these councils or on certification for CHWs. Part of the C3 project is going in there so they could understand what CHW, the qualities of CHW, the skill sets of CHWs. So the work is there, the information is there. It's just that we gotta just let them know we're here, take out information. This is what CHWs are doing, this is who we are, right? And I'll show it to you in a second, but let me get into the chat. Okay. Hello, Erica. I'm seeing names. I'm seeing so many names I haven't seen in a while. So happy to see you all. Yes. Okay. So Maureen said, this is so cool. Things to consider as different states create or sustain certification standards. How do they differ? Should all CHWs across the country have certain baseline competencies? What is CHW's moves from one state to another? Exactly. Will certification be seamless? Right, exactly. Okay. Oh, thank you for sharing the link. Oh, yes, we'll definitely put the opportunity for you to join the listserv so you could attend the meetings. Absolutely. Yes, and there you go. Marie put in the C3 council to look at the C3 project right in the chat. Okay. So we know that there are some issues, right? You're moving from one state to another, or different counties, or different areas, or you may be certified in one state, but then you live somewhere else, right? And had to move. What does that look like, right? So going to these different being part of these different association, being part of the association in your state makes a big difference. Just showing up and being there because you're allowing your voice to be heard. All right, your thoughts, what needs to be in place, or bringing attention to a certain area, what that looks like. You're bringing that out there. Okay, so and adding value, part of its value for policymakers as well. And as a CHW and an ally, you have every right and every capacity to speak with them, and you know what gaps that needs to be filled in your own state, right? And the trainings that are needed in your state or for the individuals that you're serving. Okay. So yeah, so this is actually North Carolina, what they have, right? I was on that same site, just clicking on what their trainings are. So you could look at these different states. And I'll say this, a lot of the states, I would say like South Dakota, some of the states will look at what another state is doing, like South Dakota is doing great, has a great initiative when it comes to reimbursement, Medicaid reimbursement. So we have some states who are like following their blueprint so they could incorporate it in their state as well. Okay. Yes. All right. 1 second. Let me get back to the presentation. Okay. There we go. So this is what you can see in that link, the CHW certification landscape. So it's giving you what's happening in one state, what's not happening in another state, right? What could we incorporate? And this right here, the C3, I'm pointing like you could see, but here's my mouse. The C3 project, CHW core skill, the link that Maureen just put in the chat, it breaks down every single thing about these skill sets, the core skill sets for CHWs. It breaks it down tremendously of who we are and what we do. All right. And what makes us stand out. Okay. So to answer your question, those of you who wanted to connect with us and to be part of the Southeast CHW network, you are more than welcome to. You would have to just follow these directions on the screen and you'll be able to get the updates. So a lot of the updates that you're seeing now will be about the summit, just letting you know that. But we will put this in the chat for you. And we also have a network app where we communicate within the Southeast and connect other CHWs through there as well. I'll show that to you in a moment. Do I have time to show everybody that real quick? Okay, thanks,
Yes. I
Kim.
mean, you have the time
Okay.
till 1. I don't know what else you
Yes.
have planned, but yeah, I think so.
Yes. Okay. Let me answer some questions. The Southeast region, not all, Kimberly. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna show you an important tool, a very cool tool that I'll show you how we're even communicating to with other states. So they're giving us information because what works for one state may not work for the other, right? What works for one county, even within your own state, what works for one county may not work for another. But then we could find some common ground that we can take and implement on our own that, oh, this could work. I didn't even know we could do this, right? There is a platform because we know that within the network, like there was a gap where whatever's happening in one state, we would like to do that, right? We would like to do what's happening in South Carolina here in Georgia, right? We would like to do what's happening in North Carolina or Kentucky, or to do certain things where we see like, oh, we can benefit from this. Let me show you instead of talking. again. I just get too excited sometimes when it comes to these. Okay. All right, so look at my screen for a second. Okay. So this is the network act, the Southeast CHW network, right? So this right here, we have a channel just for the Southeast region. Remember on the map, those highlighted states that were on the Southeast side? This is where we connect. Okay, this is something we just rolled out a couple of months ago, so it's still growing. But the amazing thing is once you get into this app, you can go to other areas. Like if you're a CHW, go to connect with other CHWs around the nation. Connect with other CHWs around the nation and see what they're doing. If you could participate in anything, even if they're doing it virtually, right? Participate, be part of it. See what they're doing. How is it helping? Right. And I'll go back to our network. We had our meeting yesterday, and then some information that came up was here in Virginia, um they having a sustainable they need some sustainable infrastructures need, right? Whatever it is that they're doing, we put it on here so they got a call to action that they need support, right? Same thing with South Carolina. We just put that up here. They having a collab that is actually happening today. That happened already. It is 12. Oh, yeah, that happened today. So just putting this out there where you can gain some of this information on how can it benefit you, and then you're not only are you putting out there, you're exchanging information where you have something going on, you put it, someone else has something going on, you attend, right? In a ways that can benefit your community, that can help you learn more information. With even when we spoke about open avenues for reimbursement, how is that working in another state? How can we incorporate that? Right. So just having the opportunity to connect with others here. And then if you're an ally, you could go into this channel and participate in that. And then some of them you would need permission. You definitely going to need permission for some of these channels, but you join in. I'll put this link in the chat. I'll put that in the chat. So you can it'll take a little bit to join because you're going to have to get accepted, and then you could go to others upcoming events that's happening. This is a way where you connect with not just within the Southeast, but someone mentioned California, something going on in California, we're going, right? Or we're checking it out. So just wanted to share this piece that we have for the network as well. Okay. Yes, yes. Okay. So let me put this back on. So Kim just added this in the chat so you can follow these directions. I know it's very detailed. Okay. And you can connect with us. Get connected with our webpage, training and certification standards, which highlights training sites offering eligibility, specialization tracks, examination, all the great things. And then our Southeast CHW Network Summit website that is up with a lot of information on there. And yeah, it. So if you need anything, you can email us here at sechw@mailbox.sc.edu. And we'll be more than happy to support you and help you. Okay. And that's all I have.
Thank you both so much.
Mhm.
Really great presentation. I can tell how passionate both of y'all are about this work, and we love that. Um, and I'm really glad you could come today because I think regardless of region or area where we are, right? We have some CHWs in this group who are from the Southeast. But even for others of us, like I'm not in the Southeast, I'm in the Midwest, there's a lot of lessons to be learned, right? As more and more states are exploring like formalizing and certification standards. As you mentioned, there's so much to learn from one another, but also to think about like, how do we make sure that all these regulations are uplifting us as CHWs and not like hindering our work. So I really appreciate y'all. And I kind of wish we had this in the Midwest. Maybe we need to start like a regional because I'm kind of jealous. For those of you who are thinking about if you don't live in the Southeast and you're thinking about this network, you know, I subscribe to the listserv. I'm not from the Southeast. I usually like attend a part of y'all's meetings that I feel like is applicable to me. And then when you start getting to like sub-grant stuff, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bounce
Right.
out of here. But it is a very welcoming space and a lot of things that all of us can learn from.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. This was amazing. This is great. Just to see everybody on their journey and within the workforce of CHW and allyship, it's just so heartwarming. And just to see the work that's being done is just beautiful. I'm seeing the names that I've seen before. So y'all are in the right path, doing the right things.
I think with CHWs too, you need that encouragement, right?
Yes, yes, yeah.
You need the encouragement when you're a frontline public health worker. Just throwing that out there.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you.
Soledad, there's a question in the chat from Gregory. He's asking about, are there any quality plan and metric measurement toolkits available? We do have a few best practices toolkits on our website, Gregory, and I will drop the link there. And if it's not all that you're looking for, it is a great start.
Mm-hmm.
So give me 1 second and I'll drop the link to those CHW best practices toolkits.
Now, and thank you, Kim, for doing that. And not to spoil it for anybody, but there is anybody here part of the CDC 2109 grant? If you are, there is the sustainability toolkit, and there's also there's another one. It left my head, but there's another one where advocacy toolkit, but it's we have one that we're working on for the Southeast because that was something that was brought up. But there is a sustainability toolkit that is detailed. We cannot release it to anybody that's outside of that grant yet. But I'm sure in the coming months it will be available. And when I tell you it's super detailed, it all the information you need is in one document, right? So there are people that are diving in deep, just coming up with solutions and support for this workforce, but certain things just can't be released yet. But Kim will be putting some information in the chat. Yes. Thank you. Yes, you're so welcome. Yes.
Keep putting questions in the chat. Also, if anyone would like to, you know, come off mute and ask a question, that's also welcome. So I can't hear you. Can anyone else? I also just want to take a moment to let everyone know that I will try and also share out this information. So like I'll send a follow-up email with the recording and with the directions for how to join the Southeast CHW listserv and some of these other links as well. Did anyone else have any more questions for Kim or Soledad?
Sorry, I just missed it. I had to switch devices for some reason.
Oh,
My computer.
no
So,
worries.
yes, but I'm here.
And thank you all again so much for having us come and share today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We love
Yes,
y'all.
thank you.
Oh, love you more.
Well, so much gratitude to
Okay.
both of y'all for being here and sharing out this important information. We so appreciate it, and I feel like it's very very in keeping with the spirit of this group. Like this is what we're all about, is sharing, knowledge across states and borders and regions and coming together. So anytime we can have you back, we'd love to do that as well.
Oh, absolutely. Would love to. Thank you so much for having us.
I'll share this with them so that we are working on a new toolkit, which is on CHW advocacy, where we've interviewed about 6 or 7 different states who have planned and conducted advocacy or legislative events within their states. And we're pulling together all of this information that they shared on the successes that they had, the best practices, challenges, and just things to do to plan and get ready for CHWs and CHW allies to go talk to legislators to advocate for the CHW workforce. And once it is made publicly available, we would love to share it with Maureen and Candace to share with you all. And at some point, we will be open to, coming to do presentations to walk folks through those.
Yes,
Yeah.
that sounds amazing. We would love that. All right, well, we are getting towards 1 o'clock. So once again, I just want to express so much gratitude for our speakers, our participants. Thank you all for sharing space with us today. I also want to take a moment to just say that I hope you all have a wonderful, joyous, restful end of the year holiday season that we are moving into. And we are so excited we will be so excited to reconnect with you through CHLC in 2025. So be out on the lookout for emails and invitations, but just know that we will not have a formal session in December because it's just too chaotic and too much going on. But we hope that this break between now and then treats you all well. And we can't wait to see you again soon. Take care, everyone.